What's up, guys? Welcome back to Simply FPL. Game week 23 is almost finished. It is finished for me. All of my players have played, and we've got a double game week coming up next week. So let's have a quick look at how my team got on this week, and also some players you might consider as we come up to the double game week. So there's the team. 70 points after Son and Gundogan get their bonus points, and Luca Digne comes in for Eric Dyer, who obviously didn't play. Overall rank's gone up. Now, it was 260,000. We're now 187. The only thing I'd say about that is Leeds are obviously going to play tomorrow. We've got Chelsea playing in a moment. So my rank's just going to drop. I'd imagine if I'm lucky, I'll probably end up around where I was at the beginning of the game week. Like against Crystal Palace, I'd imagine Bamford may get a goal. You know, you'd imagine there's a good chance he'll get a clean sheet. So yeah, my overall rank, I'm not reading too much into it because, as I say, all my players have played, whereas a lot of teams still have at least one player to go. Just looking at the individual performances then. So first game, Aston Villa beating Arsenal 1-0. It was kind of a backs against the wall performance from Villa. I think Arsenal will be scratching their head how they lost that one. But from Martinez's point of view, be fairly delighted. Made a really good save there to deny Arsenal a goal. Got himself some bonus points and the clean sheet. It's another 9 points for this season's standout goalkeeper. Ollie Watkins. So I kept him on my bench. I didn't want to play Grealish and Watkins when I had kind of good players everywhere else. Like last week, leaving Gundogan on the bench, it proved to be a bad decision. Grealish got himself 2 points. He was really marked out of the game. Watkins obviously got himself the goal and the 3 bonus points. So, look, those are sometimes the risks you take in fantasy football when you've got 5 good midfielders and 3 good strikers, that you're going to leave someone on the bench who could get points. I think medium term, I'm going to look to get rid of one of those 8 players for a player that is probably not going to play much. Try and start taking funds out of that bench and moving them onto the pitch. But for this time, look, that's just sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. In this instance, Watkins, I still think he was the right guy to bench, but unfortunately, obviously, proved us wrong on that one. Next game, so Newcastle against Southampton. I didn't watch the game, but I was driving at the time. I think it was about 30 minutes in, I heard on the radio that Newcastle had gone 2-0 up. And I just assume Wilson must be involved in 1 or 2 of those goals. He's involved in none of them, and he'd been subbed injured. So 1 point, what a disaster. Wilson is going to be gone from my team very, very soon. I'm just trying to work out how I get Harry Kane back in the team. So if I don't get Harry Kane back in, maybe DCL might come in. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but there's a good chance Wilson will just sit on my bench now till I get rid. He's obviously injured now, and I just think all the other players I've got have way more chance of getting points each week. So West Ham game, Soufal, I didn't watch most of it, but I seen Soufal hit the crossbar. If he'd have scored that, that'd have been an absolute beaut to kind of get us up and running. But 6 points, clean sheet, we'll take it. We did say that game could very easily be a 0-0. Thankfully, I didn't have Souček. Absolute joke of a red card. I assume it's going to be rescinded. So if you have Souček, maybe don't sell him just yet. I'd imagine the Premier League are not going to enforce a ban on that one. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. And then finally, United against Everton. Was watching that game 2-0 down. I was thinking, what is going on? Everton, absolutely brutal. Half time, I didn't even want to watch anymore. We came out and kind of sucker punched them, brought it back to 2-2. And somehow we managed to get a draw. Not sure how that happened. Fernandez gets the world-class goal, so we get 7 points from him. And DCL gets himself the assist and the goal at the end. Now, it's a poacher's finish, but that's where most of his goals come from. So some people say, he was lucky to get the goal. But like this season, he's always in that position. So it's not lucky when you do it kind of week in, week out. So yeah, definitely one to watch with this double game week coming up. And as an Everton fan, we were obviously happy with the 3-3, maybe less happy with the performance. Spurs against West Brom. So Dyer not playing again. He's going to be gone this week. I've already decided on my sub, who we'll talk about in a moment. And Son captain gets us, it says 16, but when the bonus points gets added, he'll be on 20 points. So yeah, happy enough to have captained him. The logic kind of made sense. And to be honest, I didn't think it was a great Tottenham performance, but Tottenham towards... To be honest, from now till the end of the season, I think Tottenham's games are good enough that you can have Son and Kane. So I'm very much looking to bring Kane back in. I've just not decided how I can get him in yet. I don't particularly want to drop Salah after he's just obviously got the goal there against City. And Liverpool have a really good run of fixtures coming up. So I don't want to get rid of Salah. I don't want to get rid of Fernandes or Son. My midfield is kind of nailed on there. So, yeah, I want to bring Kane back in. I'm just not sure how. Maybe when Jota comes back, we might swap Salah for Jota and put the money everywhere else. Not decided on that yet. And then finally, we've just witnessed Man City demolish Liverpool. Gundogan, 13 points. I think he's currently on after bonus. Cancelo didn't get his clean sheet as we predicted. I did say I thought Salah would be a good captaincy pick. He got himself the penalty and the goal. And yes, kind of putting a shine on an otherwise poor game week. The only downside is the average is going to be quite high because I think most people kind of own the City players, which I own. So that's kind of the week as it stands. And Luca Digne is going to come in for Dyer. Digne, like, I really regret bringing him in. He's probably going to be the guy I sacrifice to eventually bring Kane in. I think if I get rid of Dyer and Digne for 2 value defenders, I could potentially upgrade Wilson to Kane if I kind of do it in the right way. So that's where I'm kind of focusing my attention at the moment. So moving on. Here's the double game week, which we all need to plan for. The one thing I'd say is, so Burnley, Fulham, Everton and City have the double game weeks. City, everyone already has 3 City players, right? There's not too many people who are seriously into their FPL who don't have 3 City players. They just offer so much value, certainly when City are playing as well as they are at the moment. Burnley, like, there's no reason to own a load of Burnley players. Fulham, there's no reason to own a load of Fulham players. And Everton, maybe you could own, like, there's only a couple of players you really want from Everton. So the one thing I'd say is, I really don't think it's a good idea to load up. Like, we've already got 3 City players, we're assuming most people do. I don't think it's a great idea loading up on Everton, Burnley and Fulham right now. So kind of tread at your own risk. I think, although it's a double game week, just bear in mind if you're not on a free hit or a wild card coming up afterwards, you're going to have to keep these players. And I'm just not sure you want to keep too many of them going forward. So if you've got an Everton player, Burnley or Fulham, obviously don't get rid of them yet. But I'm definitely not going to be loading up on them myself. I've got 2 free transfers going into this week. And I think I'm actually going to roll one of the transfers. Like you'll notice there as well, like teams like United, like they've got an easy enough fixture that you don't mind playing players for. And West Ham have Sheffield United at home. So I don't want to necessarily sub any of their players to play double game weeks where, like, realistically, Everton are not going to have huge hauls. Fulham are not going to have a huge haul there in those games, and Burnley maybe. So that's kind of my off the top of my head thoughts. I'll probably do a video on this in more detail. For now, let's just have a look at 4 players, which I am tipping to maybe worth considering if you are going to be bringing them in. First one, Matt Lowton. So I'm probably going to bring him in myself. I'm probably going to get rid of Dyer for him now. See a lot of people kind of tipping the other Burnley players. There's better defenders out there who'll obviously get you more chance at goals. But Matt Lowton at 4.4 million for me is the one to get. Now, main reason is I don't want to put 5 million into a Burnley defender. I also want to try and reduce the amount of money that's on my bench. So my plan here is to bring in Lowton for Dyer, use Lowton as the bench fodder going forward. But also, he's nailed on. There's 0 chance he gets an attack in return. He's the most boring defender ever. He'll just sit on the halfway line. But I can play him in the double game week, then just lob him on my bench unless Burnley have a really nice fixture, and just play it that way. I don't see the value. I know a lot of people are going to bring in the other defenders from Burnley. Like I understand that there's obviously a chance of getting attacking returns. The only thing I'd say is if you are going to bring in lads like Ben Mee, who are 5 million, probably going up to 5.1, like, he's only scored, I think, 2 goals this season, so he's not exactly a prolific goal scorer. So you've got to weigh up the fact that you're going to spend 0.6 million extra for the tiniest chance at an attack in return. For me, take the money off the bench and put it back into the starting 11 and just have Loughton. He's nailed on. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Next one then. Ademola Lookman. Look, we spoke about him before, but what I want to do is just pick a player from each of the 4 teams with a double game week. But he's 5 million. He's nailed on. He passes the eye test the last few weeks. So like he always looks like he's getting into good positions. Although Fulham aren't necessarily banging in goals every few minutes, when they do, he looks in and about the kind of where the action's happening, which again, in the long term, means he's going to probably get involved in the assists and the goals. He's got the 13th best midfield XG in the league. So 13th may not think it's the best stat to kind of spout on about, but for Fulham, when obviously the lads ahead of him, like you can imagine the lads in the top 10, like being 13th on that list with an XG of 4.86, it's pretty good. He's underperforming with only 3 goals this season. So look, I'm not bringing him in myself, but where I think this is a good time to use this double game week to kind of free up cash and kind of start to reduce the money on our bench. Bringing in someone like Lookman for 5 million might help you do that. And obviously he's going to have the double game week as well. So it's kind of the perfect time. Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski, 7.6 million. He's got the 3rd best XG of all strikers. He's only behind Bamford and Vardy, and he's only fractionally behind those. So look, if he had one more shot on target yesterday, he could potentially be number 1, number 2 on that list. He's scored in his last 2 games. He's obviously, now that James Rodriguez and Luca Digne are back, he's kind of got way more chance of getting involved in the goals. And his price, like next season, he's going to be a £9 million striker. Place your bets now. That's what I'm calling. So at 7.6 million, when you're looking at your points per million value, he's probably in and about where he should be. So the only risk on that is that there's obviously cheaper strikers out there. The Watkins, the Bamfords, the Wilsons, the Antonios. So if you're looking to kind of move up into the mid-tier strikers, DCL, you could probably put him in your team, set and forget, play him for the rest of the season. And yeah, he's got just as much chance of getting a goal at home to Fulham as he has playing away to Liverpool. Like he kind of sits in that 6-yard box and just waits for the chances to come to him. So I'm probably not going to bring him in for the double game week myself. I'm thinking of rolling the transfer and bringing in Bamford next week instead. But yeah, if you are looking to bring in an Everton player, he's the guy I definitely bring in ahead of anyone else. Finally, then, look, like I'm not predicting anything crazy by tipping Gundogan, but he's only 21% owned, so only 1 in 5 teams in FPL have him, which I was surprised at because he's 5.9 million. He's playing like a £12 million asset at the moment. Like he's playing that Kevin De Bruyne role now. The big risk is if you bring him in, when De Bruyne's back, is he going to slip back into the CDM role and never be seen again? I'm saying no. 9 goals and 1 assist in his last 11. So the kind of the makeup of those 10 attacking returns. If it was like 5 goals and 6 assists, but it's not. It's all like he's going for goals. Like he's not in the areas where he's getting assists. Like he's making those late runs. As we've just seen there against Liverpool, he's the guy who's kind of moving into that number 9 position when the attack happens. I just don't see Pep saying to him that actually now you need to go kind of play the Fernandinho role. So at 5.9 million, I'm saying he's probably going to be my team for the rest of the season because he's nailed on to play almost every week. Like like there's very few players that can say that in Pep Guardiola's team. He's potentially one of them. So if you don't have him, I still think he's almost fixture proof because City are playing so well at the moment. And yeah, I think he's the reason I'm going to dodge Sterling and De Bruyne for the rest of the season. I think the 3 lads I've got, Cancelo, Diaz and Gundogan, are just going to be in my team for the rest of the season. I'm going to consider captaining Gundogan quite a lot, I think, if when De Bruyne comes back, he still plays that attacking role, because I just think although he's 5.9 million, he's not playing like a 5.9 million midfielder, so we shouldn't treat him like that. He's still worth the captaincy. And I'm almost certain I'm going to captain him for the double game week. So that's the video. We'll put up at least a video or 2 in the week just about the double game week. Team reveal will be coming up, but Videos won't be up every day going forward because obviously the fixtures are now going back to each week as opposed to the mad run we've had since December. So drop in the comments how you've done this week, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.